So I guess it's time to do a full update. Um, so getting things a little cleaned up after the hurricane, kind of rearranging out here just to have a little more room. Um, Everything's still not cleaned up all the way, but um, anyways, yeah, just going through the laundry list of things. Most of the stuff here on the table is still about the same. I've got these Garcinia macrophylla. I can't remember which ones are they. The Dewacre or whatever they're called. They have not germinated yet. Some fingers crossed on that. But the Rosapotes all did start popping up. Most of the stuff on the table is about the same as it was before. These Anthropophaga, the Eugenias, are still doing pretty good. I've got these Merceria laziovianas, the Cablu Deo variety, that are still kind of hanging out over here. As well as these Plinia coronata Otto Anderson asucanas. These are all popping up and looking pretty good. And then these Ruby Honey Plinia SP are doing good. Some other things that didn't pop up so far. I've got a Pockery that didn't pop up. I've got some Pluta de Mucaris. I had 4 or 5 seeds, and only one of them popped up, and I've got it protected from worms in that little bag there. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. And then even the Raza that I had fruit, I planted all the seeds out, and they still haven't popped up either. So not sure why it's taking that long, but yeah. But from the hurricane, I had some damage on my Barbados cherry, so I'm going to try to root some cuttings from that branch that popped out. Got a whole slew of new Plinias over here that some of them are starting to push out some growth. I've got them kind of pretty much in the shade, so that hopefully they pop in. And I've got this sucker that I pulled out of my fruiting red as well to see if I can root it. It did start putting roots out pretty quickly, but I popped it in that soil to see if it'll maybe take. I have some veggies over here that, like, these are like yard long beans and wing beans and stuff, and I only had a couple of the yard long beans pop up. These are a little dry, but I'm not sure what's going on here, but they're not popping up yet. These Garcinia mangostanas that I got from those store-bought fruits have not yet popped up, but we'll keep them moist and keep them going. But anyway, so on to other stuff. All the Jabos are looking fine. That's the Campo Ramon, a Rosa de Pescoco right there. That's kind of looking a little lanky, but the new growth on it's finally starting to look pretty good. I think there's some bug damage on it again. That's kind of the bane of this thing, is it keeps getting hit by bugs. Like the little worms just eat the new growth. It's annoying. But this one's a Oriana Broncamel, and then a couple of Red Lantern Vitranthas. This Calamondan's going crazy. But I also have the Scarlet, which is just doing fantastic. It's really liking this time of the year. It's cooled down a bit. The sun's less intense. I pruned it up at the bottom, and it was getting a little burnt at some point in the year because the sunlight's pretty intense. But when I moved it out, it started doing a little better. I think this is the Otto Anderson Vitrantha Broncovino. Yeah, so it looks a lot like a red. It seems to have a little bit of a different growth habit, so I don't know if there's any kind of information on whether or not this is a Vitrantha or just a variety of a selected variety of a red. But I got that one from Adam. He was telling me over a stream that you can kind of tell the difference by grinding up the leaves and smelling it, and there is a difference. So I don't know. I'll trust the Plinia King himself, or Plinia Prince himself. But this is the Plinia coronata Heshtinga. Looks like there's some bug damage here, but the new growth coming out looks pretty okay. very pretty and delicate looking. So can't wait to see what that tree turns out to be like. But this Eugenia stipitata, this is the Arasa. It flowered heavily, as y'all saw before, but didn't set any freaking fruit. That one fruit was just a rogue fruit set. I'm not sure. The conditions are just right for it, I guess, or maybe I'd hand pollinated it at the right time, because I did kind of, twiddle around on the flowers to see if I could get anything to set. But I don't remember if I did that one, but it's just constantly flowering, so maybe it's just not quite ready. I do notice it's got a little bit of burn from the sun, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure that's what that is. But maybe it's semi-deciduous. But, I mean, all the new growth on it looks pretty good, and it's flowering, so it's got to be happy, right? My Exeter Myrcera is doing great. Again, this top growth, this looks like bug damage. Maybe even wind damage, I'm not sure. It looks like that sometimes, and then it doesn't look like that sometimes, so again, lots of worms. Like same with this guy. This is the yellow grimy chama, and the worms come in and they start eating on the new growth, and it all dies back, and then then some more new growth comes out and it looks fine. So it's kind of like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But kind of a champion is this Myrcera astrigipes. This is the beach cambuca, very closely related to the yellow javaticaba, but did a little YouTube short on this, but it's definitely flowering now, so that'd be awesome if we get to try some fruit on this thing. I bought it at the Manatee County Rare Fruit Council sale. I can't remember the guy I bought it from, but he had the most interesting rare stuff. But this thing's just doing great. It's got a lot of new growth coming out. It looks really pretty. You can take the heat, it seems like. It doesn't really mind being in the full sun. So we've got it right here in the center of the lanai now. Yeah, my Luke's Garcinia here hasn't really put any new growth out in the pot. The other one on the ground hasn't really put any new growth out either, but they're kind of slow, I find, the potted Garcinias. My Anomaly, still chugging. He kind of likes to do this thing where it puts off a new branch and then dies back, and then another new branch comes out, and that one stays, and then like 2 steps forward, 1 step back again. Obviously my red is doing very good. It constantly has fruit on it. It's flowered again recently. I think the hurricane may have kind of messed with it a little bit, because it had a whole bunch of blooms. I don't really see them anymore, so the wind may have messed them up, but keep an eye on it. I don't know what this white stuff is here. Is it just some kind of, yeah, it looks like there's some kind of fungus on the outer bark, but it's peeling, so that should go away. Got this Plinia clausa. This is the Anahio or whatever it is. Another variety of big yellow jabo, the cambuca. Got a couple cambucas here, and the one on the ground. Here's another red lantern, giant mulchi. I don't use Miracle Grow on anything. I just have a box and I put shit in it. They're actually pretty good for keeping the water out if you want stuff to stay dry. But I don't use that stuff. It always burns plants. I've got a couple of variegated peppers that I'm trying to grow just for some ornamental stuff in the yard, but they're coming through pretty nice looking, actually. So this is 2 different varieties. This one on the right is what is it, Purple Haze or something like that, and the other one is this one over here is Autumn Time is what it was sold to me as. So we'll see how those come out. But I've got some other these lulos right here, big spiky solanums, some okra. So getting some veggies growing out here. This is the Plinia trunciflora gigante variety. This thing's a champion. It grows like crazy. It's probably going to be a huge tree. I do want to eventually put it in the ground, but I want to get some backups first. So I'm growing out some sabras. I'll try and graft in on that. But Eugenia burkhartiana, I've got a couple of those hanging around the lanai. Batana tuba is doing good. Miracle Fruit's doing good. All these red jabos are going crazy over here. So most of the jabos over here are reds. I think this is another Yeah, this is another Oriana Branca Mel. This is the Plenia Oblongata doing well. And there's some black sapotes and Suriname cherries in here too. Here's my 3 Sabras in here. Actually, hold on a second. I just whacked the phone. Take this, it's a Merceria cuspidata right there. I've got a bigger one. Actually, the bigger one's over here. Let me circle back. I think I dodged this one. This is a really, really nice looking cuspidata. So, first branch. Hopefully it'll start branching out more and get thicker. Because I'm like worried about it being so small that it'll get eaten by bugs before it has a chance to grow out of that state. But let's see what's going on over here. There's a cactus. Those are those big column cactuses. I can't remember what they're called. Peruvian apple cactus, I think. They get huge and they make giant purple, like neon fruits. They're pretty cool. Fruits don't taste like anything much, but they're edible. Yeah, here's my 3 Sabras that I'm going to graft onto. Got some more. Here's the Ross sapotes, gin berries. Here's another Burkhartiana, or not Burkhartiana, Anthropophaga. This is a Merceria floribunda. I think this is called the guava berry, common name. Bunch of different Garcinias. Got some lemon drops, madrinos are those kind of bigger leaf ones. There's another Pacuri right there. Got some purple forest guava and some Eugenia Rapondo blacks, and then just a bunch of reds and strawberry guava in here. So we're producing a lot of stuff in my backyard. Got to figure out what to do with it. We'll get to that point when I get there. So let's see what's going on outside. Man, the MB looks good. This is my biggest one. The oldest one I have is here, but I got it. I tried to graft onto it, and the graft failed after a worm ate into the scion, even though it had started pushing out new growth, which is unfortunate. But it grew back from the stump. So I'm just going to let that one grow out again, and maybe we'll try to graft onto it again later, but we'll see what sex plants these are, because there's one there. There's a smaller one here. It's kind of, this stuff here is African potato mint. Yeah, here it is. There's another small one there. I've got like a dinky, lanky one over there that has never really done that well, but it's not dead, so we're hoping it'll figure out how to grow. Let's see what else is going on. Got some, here's those little teeny tiny passion fruits that just kind of grow wild here in Florida. They don't taste like anything. I did a video on it before, but they're really cool to have around, and the birds eat them. My pepper plants got shredded in the storm, but this red Jabo is doing really good. This is one part of my experiment of just putting Jabos in the ground and not watering them. If it gets really bad and we haven't had rain in months, I'll hit them with some rainwater. But they're not hooked up to irrigation. It's not being watered regularly. I only had to water them maybe once or twice this year, and we've been in a drought, so it's not normal for it to be like that. But once they get bigger, I don't think I'll have to water them at all, especially like the Cambuca here, which is probably, I don't know, 2 feet tall, 2.5 feet tall. It's getting up on 3 feet. Remember, it's been in the ground for almost has it been a year? I think it's been a year almost. Looks completely different back here, but it's doing great. Like, I don't really have to water that. I think I had to water it once, and again, that was during, it got really hot all of a sudden. It didn't rain for like a month, and I don't want my really rare plants to die. So this pigeon pea came out. I kind of moved these Garcinia, the seashore mangosteens, back here for the wind. I haven't moved them back yet, but yeah, so this pigeon pea, I chopped it out. I do have a soursop or guanabana growing in here, so that'll replace that. Got another red here. The June plum is coming back like crazy after the first hurricane knocked it back, and I trimmed it down. Or was it the first hurricane? I can't remember. we had some kind of storm come through that pushed it back, but I can't remember how long ago that was. But yeah, like I literally decapitated the thing. You can see it kind of like right there, and it's grown back just fine. Oop. Oh, there's a freaky looking wasp. Don't want to mess with that. I got stung the other day, or a couple weeks ago, and I still have a scar on my arm from it, so we'll leave that guy alone. But I gotta go lift these pots up over here. So those are just star fruits. Yeah, actually, hold on, let me check on that. I'll go by this wasp if he leaves me alone. Because I have yeah, so this is fine. I'll just leave these down for now, actually. So that's the Eugenia piriformis right there. Eugenia, God, Pitanga tuba. I can't remember the scientific name off the top of my head right now. But that's the Pitanga tuba from Adam that I got a couple of years ago. And it keeps flowering, but it's not setting any fruit. So I might move the other one out next to it when they start flowering again next year to see if we can get some fruit set. But I also have a Pitomba down there, so maybe we'll get some cross-pollination that way too once those start flowering. Moving out to the front, did a lot of cleanup after the hurricane. Again, lost the papayas, but the Cherry of the Rio is still doing great. I propped the pomegranate back up, and it doesn't seem to be in shock at all, so fingers crossed there. The jackfruit's got a lot more light because these papayas are now chopped and dropped. But yeah, so hopefully that jackfruit will start exploding. Didn't lose the key lime, didn't lose the Grimmel Jabo. Everything's looking good out here. Even this mango's fine, the peaches and the plums, all good. This plumeria is blooming after the hurricane, which is cool. Guava's still standing. Ugh. The ice cream bean's still there. The native garden's doing all right. We got a lot of blooms. Blazing Star, Goldenrod, this Julie Mango in here. It's doing all right. Looks like it had a little bit of dieback on this branch. That's okay. I know the Julie Mangoes kind of grow like a bush, which is what I'm kind of going for here. I'm hoping it just kind of takes over this wall, covers up the bathroom window. Fingers crossed on that. But these jackfruits are looking excellent. I think the leaves got a little burnt in the wind. You can see right here. Like, for some reason, just the wind blowing on the leaves can damage them like that, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm still torn on what to do with those things because, what was it? There's like 5 of them that popped up. So I'm not sure. I could try approach grafting a couple of them together and then, you know, having just a really strong root system. But maybe we don't want a very vigorous jackfruit in the backyard up against the wall. So maybe we'll see which ones survive the winter and which ones don't. We'll just cut back the ones that die. But yeah, this Valencia orange, not doing super hot. Doesn't look super great. You know, it could be a deficiency. I have a feeling it's greening, unfortunately. You know, I don't spray anything on my trees, so, you know, I might have to take this thing out, but we'll see. I'm hopefully get a couple oranges off of it, but be a very expensive couple of oranges. The fig tree is going into dormancy. There's a couple more figs that are popping up on it, so hopefully we didn't get too many this year, but I also didn't fertilize this thing at all. So maybe I'll try fertilizing it a bit more this year. It was also really hot and not a lot of rain, so that might have been why we didn't get a lot of figs. Could be that it's finally suffering from nematodes, because I know that's a problem with figs here. I do have a backup of this in a pot in the lanai. That's what that fig tree is. It's just a rooted cutting from this exact tree. So if this thing has to go, that'll be fine. I'll probably, I'll plant something else here. You know, let a little bit more light come into the Jabo and the finger limes. But if we look at the finger lime, I had to prop this one up. The other one doesn't have any fruit on it, but I gotta be careful. I don't have shoes on. I pruned the bottom branches back so I could pull this thing up. But let's see. We've got several finger limes on this thing, and I think they're just starting to ripen up. So there's one there. There's one there. There's one back there. I think I saw a bunch more. They're just kind of, you don't really notice them until they start ripening up. I think the storm kind of messed it up a little bit though, because it did have a lot of little ones on it that had set fruit, but I don't see them anymore. But let's see. The Sabra had a bunch of new growth come out on it, and it got shredded in the wind. So this is what wind damage looks like on your tender new growth. The stuff in the back looks a little better, but I mean the plant is looking pretty good. It was pretty raggedy looking during the summer, but yeah, it's looking all right now. And the Suriname cherry is kind of coming back too. And I pruned it back a little bit. I might prune this branch because it's kind of trudging in on Jabo territory. And I would prefer to have the Jabo grow out over the Suriname cherry. Let me put this on top. But I'll probably keep it for now just to keep the density. The whole idea is, a lot of people are looking at this and being like, oh man, there's so many plants in there. What are you going to do? I'm like, well, they should help me keep things warm in the winter without having to worry about it. So, oh man, wind damage on the, this is the Guaibiju, the Myrsianthus pungens. Yeah, definitely wind damage there. You can see the previous growth coming out before the hurricane came, and then the little bits that were out afterwards got wrecked. Yeah, hopefully it comes out of that. It's actually a pretty sturdy tree. Like, it didn't move at all. Like, this thing is in the ground, so should be good. This moringa got shredded, but that's okay because like I always chop this thing back. As you can see, even now it's not even been a week and it's already pushing out new growth since it lost its branches from the storm. But I got a blueberry in there that's doing okay. I mean, it's okay. I'm not sure why. I might need to hit it with some acid on the ground, but I put a Anthropophaga in the ground here. It's doing fantastic. Little pineapple, Climuck, still doing good. I wonder, it does seem a little wobbly. I might have to step on the ground here just to reset it. Let's see. Yeah, looks like it did get blown around a bit. Let me do it right now. We'll just hold it upright and push the soil down into the roots. Hopefully that'll reset it a bit. Might stake it up too, just to help it a little bit. Come around the other side. Yeah, see, you gotta come back and look at all your stuff a couple times after a hurricane, because there's like the major things and then there's the minor things that could become major things. I'm sure after a good rain, this wouldn't be an issue, but I don't want it to get a good, it's a little more stable now. I'll probably stake it up again with a, I don't know, like a T-post or something. But yeah, now this pink lemonade blueberry is doing all right. The blueberries don't seem to like it too much. I know they like it really acid, but the achacha, the new growth down here that was coming out, got fucked up. Excuse my French. But it looks like it's okay. The plant's not really dying back, and on the very tip top, the new growth coming out looks all right. So hopefully we can salvage some of that new growth after the storm. See, some of that coming off there, but it was all the way tipped over and didn't look too good. Usually it was looking like crap. I might have to take this tree out. It probably has greening. unfortunately. But maybe I'll let it go into the next season if the new growth comes out looking better. Change my mind, but I don't know. Here's the lukes that I put in the ground. It lost a leaf. Some of these bent over, but it still has, 3 pretty good sized chunks of leaf on there, so I'm sure it'll push out new growth. Let's see. This Garcinia here, this is the Pacari, is doing good. There's a directly sown one in here that is actually doing fantastic now. It's right there, doing good. The mangoes I propped all back up. They just got tipped over. They didn't have any damage really on them. The lemon drops, mangosteens, this one was tipped over, but just staked it back up. All the new growth looks good for the most part, except for some that's got burnt in the wind, it looks like. This Gambogi mangosteen is doing all right. It's actually very green, good looking. I had to prop up this guy. This is the Dovialis hybrid tropical apricot. It was leaned all the way down, but it propped up just fine, and seems pretty happy. Some of the branches are dying back, but it kind of just does that anyways. Like it's weird. It grows and then like it'll drop a whole branch, and then it'll push out tons of new growth in all directions. Still no fruit on this thing. It's a rude cutting from a fruiting tree. I haven't even seen a flower on this thing yet though, so it's kind of crazy. The avocados didn't even move in the wind. Like they were probably, other than the Myrtaceae, they're probably the strongest trees. I mean, the sugar apple is pretty strong too. Like it lost a little branch on it. Probably, I think some of the branches from the tree fell on it. These seashore mangosteens are completely fine. Had to prop up this lemon drop, but I think the only damage on it really, other than it being knocked over, there's a couple of these leaves got bent back, and basically decapitated the leaves, so they're starting to die back and fall off it. That's it. Like, it's actually doing fine. It looks really good. It looks better than it ever has. Actually, here's some new growth. So there's some more new growth. So I'd say it's pretty dang happy. And then really the final thing is a star fruit, which is, I'm not going to go back in there because there's a bunch of stuff flying around in there, but there's a bunch of flowers. So hopefully we'll get a ton of star fruit this year. I got a couple last year and they were okay. The tree wasn't as strong as it is now. So I'm hoping it'll do a lot better, but all in all, everything's looking pretty good. Really the last thing I want to show is this loquat was tipped all the way over into the screen, and I had to do some heavy duty propping up here, but I got it pretty straight again. I think I'm actually going to leave these on the tree for a while, because I really want it to, I'm going to have to stomp down on there and build that in, but we really need some rain to kind of soften up the soil again and let it reset its position. And it just needs to grow into it a little bit. But I also put in another Eugenia Raponda Black in here, because this is kind of opened up a little bit. So I've been working over here, and I removed these non-fruiting bushes in favor of putting more interesting fruiting things in. Now, there used to be, there was like a night blooming jasmine there, and it was like a golden dewdrop or whatever it's called here, and I had a wasp or wasps make nests in there, and I got stung up by them, and so I removed everything, kind of acidified the soil a little bit. May not have needed that, but I put a rainforest plum in here, so I'm going to kind of prune it to shape. Hopefully it likes this spot. If it doesn't, I'll put it back, but I do want to put like a jawbo right there. I may transplant this pineapple, but anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it. came out okay. You know, even after a couple weeks of looking around, everything seems fine. You know, pigeon peas and whatnot will grow back real quick. So I need to prop this pineapple up actually. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, hope everyone's doing well and made it through the storm just fine. If you didn't have to deal with the storm, thank goodness. And if you made it through the video, thanks for watching.